Welcome to another episode of Life After High School. And today we are going to talk about failure, right? Failure. Now, I know a lot of y'all be like, man, I'm not really afraid to fail. It doesn't really matter to me. But let's be honest. A lot of things that we want to try in life, we don't because we're afraid to fail, right? And that feeling of being afraid to fail, a lot of it stems from the high school years, right? The years as a child. Because think about this. And when I say child, I'm talking about like a young teenager, okay? We all start off in that moment of life where we're never afraid to do anything because everybody is always cheering us on and everybody is always giving us a level of encouragement, right? They're encouraging us. It's okay. Next time, as you're little, right? When you're little, you think about this, like you never look at a newborn that's trying to crawl and tell the newborn stop. You never look at the newborn and the newborn is trying to crawl and you're demotivating that newborn, right? It's always motivation. When that newborn that's trying to crawl now is trying to stand up, it's still motivation, right? It's still encouragement. When the newborn starts to take the first step, but can't move and is just sitting there and the baby just rocking, right? Like trying to take the step, but won't lift the leg up. Like we're smiling, like, come on, you can do it. Everything is encouragement, right? And the newborn starts to walk, takes that first step, and it's yay, wow, right? It's this big celebration. And what do? We pick up the newborn, we hug the newborn, right? We hold the head, we give the baby all types of kisses, right? Because it's exciting. And then the newborn starts to walk. And then when the newborn starts to walk, what do they do from there? They start to run a little bit, right? So we're walking, and then we want to start running and moving fast, and we're falling, boom, banging the head, and we're bumping into walls and bumping into everything that is in front of us, on the side of us, behind us, under us, right? But it's always motivation. The minute they master the walk, the minute they master the run, we now start to begin the process of taking away their superpower. And we start saying things like, slow down, you're going to hurt yourself. And we look at it like, man, I'm just trying to protect the baby, right? I'm trying to protect the little one. But you didn't do that before. It was encouragement. So now they go from slow down, don't touch that. They start hearing no, no, no. And then they start getting outside with other little kids. You start hearing more no, right? So when we're thinking about failure, I want you to think about this, right? When we start to look at our young youth, our high school students, our junior high, our high school students, they start to hear no all the time. They start to hear about don't do that. They start to hear about that's not possible. They start to hear limitations. And at some point, they don't want to risk failure anymore because they don't want the criticism. They don't want the discipline that comes with the failure. Failure, right? Like, does the failure really exist? Without failure, how do we get better? Again, let's look at the babies. We never looked at their at the times they tried to crawl, roll over and couldn't. We never looked at it as failure. We looked at it as something totally different. They're really trying. They're really developing. They're developing so fast. Why, when they get to the point of being able to start to really explore and learn things on their own, now we want to start to pull our kids back, right? To where they're afraid to do something and it don't work because they don't want the criticism. They don't want the anger geared towards them. Their friends are laughing at them. The adults are getting angry with them. So now they don't want to try anything new because they don't want to fail because they don't want to be laughed at. So think about this. There's so many of you that go to work every day, right? You go to work every day and you never speak up in the meeting. Why? Because you're afraid that somebody is going to look at you in a way that you was looked at when you was in school. You're afraid that you might say something and you feel like, oh, that was dumb. So so now what we do is, right, in the years of leading up to junior high and high school, we encourage, when they get into junior high and high school, we start to formulate more discipline. We start to take our fears and put our fears on top of them. And then we wonder why they're afraid of failure. We wonder why they don't want to try anything new. Neither do you. So when you hear me talking about life after high school, I need you to understand that when you are in high school for the 4 years you're there, right? Like, you're not doing more than 4, because no student left behind now, right? I wish they had that when I was younger. That I'd have got out on time, right? I probably wouldn't. Never mind, a whole nother story. But I really want to focus on this failure thing, and I want to help students to eliminate, to void, to change the way they look at failure. I never failed at anything. Why? Because I don't give up. It doesn't work time 1 through 200, 1 through 500. But I'm going to stay persistent. I'm going to pivot a little bit, but I'm not giving up on what it is that I want, because I didn't fail. I just didn't get the part I didn't know right. But because I got the other stuff right, I don't have to worry about that. I can just focus on learning and having a better understanding of what it is that I didn't know, so that now once I learn it, I can re-engage it, and I can get past it. Even if I don't get 100% past it, I got 30%, 40, 50, 80, 90, 95, and at some point I'll hit 100. I'm saying all of this to say we have to stop allowing failure to impact our lives as adults so much, so that we don't allow our insecurities and our afraid of failing to be put onto our students. You see what I mean? And students, if you're listening to this, I don't want you to be afraid to call your parent out. Your parent looking at you like, I need you to apply yourself more. But you done heard your parent complain on how they're not happy with their job, they're not happy with their life, but they're not applying anything different. Not because they don't want to, but they don't want to take their time and energy and put into something that might not work, and they look at it as a failure, or the people around them look at it as a failure. Like, listen, students, I'm on a whole crusade. I want students to start to hold their parents accountable the same way their parents hold them accountable. I want students not to be afraid to speak up, not in a disrespectful way, right? My mother always used to tell me, she said, P, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You can say whatever you want to me. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You think about this. If you look at somebody you love, and you wake up in the morning, you come out the room, and they're out there, you see them, and you're like, I love you. They're like, oh, you could have kept that. You know what I mean? Like, if you walk up to your mom right now, you walk up to your dad, you like, I love you. They're like, why'd you say it? If they said it to you like that, you like, huh? Like, you don't even believe it. It's not sincere, right? But if you're like, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. And you give them the hug, right? It's totally different. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. When your parents are holding you accountable for something, parents, you're holding your child accountable for something, why can't they hold you accountable? Huh? Why can your children not hold you accountable, but you can hold them accountable? Is it one of them things where I'm the adult, you just do as I say? But why? You're not happy with you. You know what I mean? Like, you're not happy with your life. Now, I know some parents is like, yeah, right. My kid better not tell me. Listen, my son told me, my son told me, Dad, like, you don't got the right to tell me to do my homework. You ain't never do your homework. Dad, you don't have the right to tell me to graduate. You ain't graduate. Dad, why you riding me so hard? You didn't even do it. Yes, I wanted to take his head off. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, he was right. And I had to admit that. So when we're talking about failure, your child is afraid to fail because of the way you will probably respond. You think because if your child is afraid to fail, they're going to do what they need to do to get the grades. No, they probably just going to go out and try to find a way to cheat. They're going to try to find a way to get around it so they don't got to deal with the raft. So listen, students, I'm not concerned if your parent gets mad at you because you hold them accountable for holding you accountable. You see what I mean? We all have to hold each other accountable so that we can all grow. Yes, I'm the parent, but I'm also a student. There's books out there on parenting, right? But there's so many different ones. They're all not the same. There's different ways to parent. Everybody has an opinion. But at the end of the day, we all can admit that we could have been raised better. Our children could have been raised better. My son could have been raised better. My daughter could have been raised better, right? I raised them based off of what I knew. And now I raise them, I continue to support them based off of what I know, right? So coming up, I didn't know a lot, right? Still don't know a lot. But I raised my children based off of my upbringing, what I learned through that time. But now I support them based off what I know. And what I really understand most importantly is I have to be a student of parenting. And when we're looking at failure, no matter how we're looking at failure, right? No matter what that failure is that we're looking at, we have to be willing to admit, do we have some growing to do, right? Do we have some growing to do? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And listen, we have to, as parents, be willing to listen. My daughter said to me one day, she was like, yeah, Dad, I just don't say anything because I don't want you to get mad. And I'm like, you don't say anything because you don't want me to get mad? Yo, that's not cool. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, I need you to be able to speak up. I need you to be able to say what is on your mind, right? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you're not happy with something that Dad does, yo, you let Dad know. If Dad does something to hurt your feelings, you let Dad know. Like, you don't be afraid. If you don't say anything, yo, how do I become better to better deal with you? You see, I'm not afraid of being called out. I'm not afraid of growing. I'm not afraid of being wrong. So when we're dealing with our students, right? When we're dealing with our students and we say, I'm going to hold you accountable and this is what I want from you. I don't want you to be afraid of failing. You can't wake up every day and be afraid of failing. You can't complain about how you don't have enough to go on the trips you want to go on. You don't have enough money to do the things you want to do. You're not happy with your job, but you're afraid to go and do better. Because what we say to our kids is not the same, right? It's not the same as what we do. So as they watch us, watch them, the way they behave, the way they manipulate us, the way they get over on us, the way they find new habits is by watching us. So if you're going to hold them accountable, allow them to hold you accountable. No ifs, ands, buts about it. No questions, right? So as we talk about failure and we say, man, why are students afraid to fail? Why are students ain't trying anything? Why are they so one-dimensional? Because they're watching you. And you are. You being afraid to fail gives them a comfort zone to feel the same way. I don't care how I feel. I don't care what I'm going through. The plan is the plan. The mission is the mission. And I'm going to stick to the mission. And I'm going to let my kids know that I'm sticking to the mission. And when things don't go the way I want it to go, I'm going to let them know that it's not going the way I want it to go. When I feel like giving up, I'm going to let them know, like, yo, right now I don't feel like doing this, but I got to do it anyway. When I lose, right? And I'm using this lose because I don't lose, because I don't give up. right? But when I feel like I'm losing, when I feel like I want to throw the towel in, I let them know, yo, I feel like throwing the towel in, but I'm not. I'm going to keep pushing. Why? Because I'm letting them know it's okay to feel like you're feeling at times, but it's not okay to give in to the feeling, right? That's why I created Life After High School. That's why. Because we are in high school for 4 years. We bring the pain, the trauma with us for the rest of our lives, and we got to deal with it. And our kids graduate, right? They graduate from high school, and they run around feeling terrible, feeling lost. And they're afraid to communicate it to us because we run around like we have no problems, like we have no issues. You see what I mean? Your child should not be afraid to fail. Failing should be like, I'm going to reward my kids when they feel like they failed. I'm rewarding them, not to give up. One day my daughter said to me, right? And I know sometimes, man, I know she watches these videos. She's like, Dad, why are you always using me for an example? And I'm like, yo, because it's the reality, right? People need to know, like, I'm not just saying this to say it. It's real experiences. Like, I'm living it, right? And I'm talking to my daughter, and my daughter was like, yeah, Dad, let me not, because she'll hear me say like in a voice. She don't talk like that. I'm not trying to mimic her, right? Let me be clear. But she said to me one day, she said, yeah, Dad, I can't do it. So I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, you'll figure it out. And she was like, Dad, I can't do it. I said, oh, listen, you can't do it now, but you'll be able to do it after some trial and error, right? And it was probably maybe like 2 hours later, if that. And my daughter came out and she was like, Dad, come look at this. And I went to go look at it, and she completed the mission. And I said, baby, how you feel about it? She was like, I knew you was going to say that. Right? That was rewarding. That was rewarding. She was just getting burnt out because she was trying the same process over and over and over, right? And it didn't work. But when she backed up from it and went back into it, it wasn't about failing. It was about it didn't work the first time. I didn't have enough information. I didn't collect enough data. But once I got enough data and I went back at it and tried it again and again and again, and I got it, oh, that was rewarding. See what I mean? So I say that to say this. I want you to make sure that your child is okay with it not being right 1 through 500, 1 through 1,000, 1 through 10,000, whatever it is. I want you to make sure that your child feels like it's okay. It's okay. It's just not yet. Not yet. Like, I didn't get it done yet. But I'm going to get it done. Just not yet. Right? Life changes at that point. It really does. I hope, man, I hope you're really understanding what I'm saying to y'all, especially since I'm struggling with my sinuses and trying to get everything to come out right. I hope y'all are getting it, man. I hope you're really understanding it, okay? If not, yo, inbox me. Let me know. But make sure you actually get your child enrolled, man. Get your high school student enrolled into the Life After High School program. It's phenomenal, right? The Life After High School library, at least, the video library. Get them into that, all right? Get them in. I'll make sure that the link is down there somewhere in this video, in the bio, wherever they got to go, man, so you can see it. But listen, man, let's make sure that we give our students what they need, all right? And we allow our students to hold us accountable the way we hold them accountable. And failure is not failure. Failure, man, when it doesn't work, it's just the opportunity for you to really figure it out. I get back to the drawing board and do what needs to be done. I will talk to y'all. I can't wait for the next episode. Matter of fact, I want to hear from y'all, man. Let me know what you think about what we just talked about. Let me know, all right? I'm excited to find out, man. I really believe that we got a lot to give our students, man. So we got to get to it. All right. We got to get to it, but we can't do it if we're not willing to be students ourselves. All right. I will see y'all on the next episode, and we'll do it all over again. Right now, I'm out of here, and I'll talk to you.